evening.
Good evening.
Yes, and welcome to our May 8th Commission meeting. Thank you all for being here tonight. As with all of our meetings, we start with a prayer and pledge, and tonight I'm going to call on Commissioner Bojo. So if you would like to join us for prayer, would you please stand?
Thank you, Mayor. Before we pray tonight, I would like to ask everyone just to moment of silence. Now, we've lost a great Roman this weekend. Mr. Bill Byington, just, if you didn't know him, that was your loss. He was just a fantastic man, and more than being a friend to me and to others, he was a friend of the city. And he and his wife spent a lot of time serving on just to help improve the city and do a lot of things. And he's one of the kind of guys that we're going to miss, not only because he was a good guy, but because he was a good guy, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Joe, can I say something after you get through, please?
And anyway, when Commissioner Collins finishes, I'd like to take just about 10 seconds of silence.
I would just add to everything you said about Mr. Byington. As a young man growing up, raising my kids, I could look up on any other weekend and wonder where was my boy at. And it wasn't just my boy, it was a multitude of young men. I mean, a bunch of black boys that he seemed like as though he took them under his wings. They wasn't in the streets. There was a positive atmosphere, pool, good family fun, and things that a lot of them didn't even have a chance to even know existed. That's just what kind of man he was. The Rotarian that he was, Randy, I know can attest to that. He was just top of the line guy. Great man, and he's gonna be really missed. Thank you.
If you'll just take about 10 seconds, just remember Bill. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you tonight just thanking you and praising you for all the many blessings that you've given us, for the gifts that we now possess because of your grace and your mercy. And God, I lift up the entire Byington family and the friends, the network that he had, and I lift them all up before you because, Lord, we know that today he's probably pitching the best game of his life because he loved the game. And God, I just ask that the things that he taught us, God, will put to use. And Father, now as we go into our time here, Lord, whatever we do, whatever we say, God, I just pray and ask that it will bring glory and honor to you, that we will put our selfishness beside us, that we will put away all our things that we will keep in the forefront, the city of Rome and the reason that we're here. God, we love you. We thank you. We give you the honor, the glory, and the praise for all that you have done. For it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Bojo. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Stevenson.
Here.
Commissioner Cochran.
Here.
Bojo.
here.
Beeman.
Here.
Doss.
Here.
Quick.
Here.
Askew.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
McDaniel.
Here.
Thank you, and I trust that each of you had a chance to look over our minutes from our April 24th meeting, and there were no additions or corrections. They will stand approved as common consent. And tonight we have two proclamations. First being the Salvation Army Week, and I'm going to call on Commissioner Dawes if he would please come up.
Thank you, Joe. Sir.
It's good to see everyone tonight. And I have a special proclamation. This is actually a joint proclamation, the City of Rome and Floyd County. Whereas since its founding in Great Britain in 1865, the Salvation Army has provided humanitarian relief and spiritual guidance to people throughout the world, whereas its members continue its compassionate tradition of helping wherever there is hunger, disease, destitution, and spiritual need, whereas their victories result in shelter for the homeless, food for the hungry, self-sufficiency for the disabled, whereas perhaps the best-known services they provide involve meeting the needs of the homeless and offer other assistance to countless other individuals seeking help. And I'm on my way home now, so. Whereas those addicted to drugs or alcohol find a vast network of rehabilitation programs, children born into poverty discover camps, and educational opportunities. And whereas the City of Rome and Floyd County commends the Salvation Army officers, soldiers, and those who support its mission for their continued dedication to helping meet the physical and spiritual needs of people across the nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Rome City Commission and the Floyd County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 10th through the 16th as National Salvation Army Week. And let's give it up for the Salvation Army officers. So Meredith and I serve on the Salvation Army Advisory Board. Kelly serves on the Women's Auxiliary. And we have a great team. And if you don't know, the captains are about to leave Rome. They've been here how long?
3 years.
3 years. They started as lieutenants. They're leaving as captains. Their heart's here. And we thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to go to the podium and say, oh, come around. The mayor has something special.
Thank you, sir. If many of you may already know, but in about 6 weeks, they will be leaving us and going to Warner Robins. And just tonight, on behalf of the entire City Commission and City of Rome, this is just a token of saying thank you all for all that you've done for us here. We appreciate you, and we're going to miss you. Warner Robins' gain is our loss, but we appreciate all that you all have done for the City of Rome. Okay.
Thank you.
You can, okay, you can say. Love you too. Thank you.
I'll say just a few words. On behalf of the Salvation Army, we want to express to our city government leadership your exemplary service to the community. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just share one brief thing. I believe it was 1912 when William Booth was near the end of his life. William Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army. There was a worldwide conference being held of Salvationists, but because of his health, he could not attend. And so he tried to think of what he could communicate to that group of Salvation Army leadership. Well, the method of communication back then, as you know, was not email. It was telegraph is what it was. And apparently they charged by the word and maybe by the letter. And so he wanted to squeeze down his message to one word. And this is the word that he sent to that group of Salvationists: others. And that's exactly what you, ladies and gentlemen, are doing as you serve our community too. So we appreciate Rome, Georgia.
There's no place like Rome.
Thank you all again. Okay, our next proclamation is Peace Officers Memorial Day, and I'm going to call on Commissioner Askew.
I think it's an honor and a privilege to do this proclamation, not because of the fact that it's just for the peace officers, but because of the fact that it gives honor and praise to those who have given their lives in the service of our community and our nation as far as law enforcement officers are concerned. And this is a joint proclamation between the City of Rome and Floyd County, and it reads, whereas from the beginning of this nation, law enforcement officers have played an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms which are guaranteed by the Constitution and in protecting the lives and property of our citizens. And whereas these individuals known as law enforcement officers are the guardians of life and property, defenders of the innocent, warriors in the battle against crime, and are dedicated to the preservation of life and property. And whereas it is important that our people know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police departments and the necessity for cooperating with them in maintaining law and order. And whereas it is fitting and proper that we express our gratitude for the dedicated service and courageous deeds of law enforcement officers and for the contributions they have made to the security and well-being of all our people. And whereas we desire to honor the service, valor, and dedication of these law enforcement officers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in conjunction with Law Enforcement Memorial Week, May 15th through 21st, 2023, the Rome City Commission and the Floyd County Board of Commissioners hereby designate Friday, May 19th, 2023, as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives and have become disabled or have become disabled in the performance of their duty.
Madam Mayor and fellow commissioners, just want to thank you for this proclamation, and also to invite everyone Friday, May 19th, on the grounds of the law enforcement complex. We will have and honor and pay homage to officers that have lost their lives in the line of duty. This is also a acknowledgement and recognition of officers who continue to work each and every day to serve their communities. So again, I invite you on May 19th at 11 o'clock on the grounds of the Law Enforcement Center at number 5 Government Plaza. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and of course, we appreciate all that you all do every day. All right. We have 2 registered guests. Our first one is Miss Norma Roberto, but I don't think she is.
She had a family matter to attend to, but she did give me some notes. Can I speak on her behalf?
So, that'd be, okay, yes, okay, go to the podium, give us your name and your address. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Carrie Jones, and my address is P.O. Box 1142. Norma wanted me to speak, and I agree with her, to look at the financial state of our country right now. And while I fully acknowledge you guys don't have control over things like the Federal Reserve Bank, there is a lot of things going on, including a lot of countries moving to BRICS, including Mexico, resulting in de-dollarization. You've got the Fed that is reporting that currently the amount of assets that have already been lost since the beginning of the year now equal 2008 as to what happened with that financial situation. There's another article that was saying that some 700 banks they think are insolvent, and that's as of Q3 of last year. Let's not forget that there's still the GameStop stock thing going on, because there's a lot of hedge funds that did not learn their lesson in early 2021. And there's currently, the Federal Reserve has 2 things going on. One, the central bank digital currency, so crypto is coming. whether we want it or not. That has been available and been ready to go as of February, but they are currently testing FedNow. FedNow is the Federal Reserve's answer to Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. It's an instant transfer between. That is currently in beta with over 100 banks and is set to be released in July to be usable. At the same time, they're also doing something I believe is called Basel IV, in which the banks are reassessing what assets are actually worth. So gold would then potentially be a level 1 asset versus something else like a T-bill. And obviously tomorrow there is the discussion about the debt ceiling. Last I heard, I haven't had a chance to check the news today, but I just want to bring this up because I realize that there's a lot of things you guys can't control. You can't control the inflation on eggs, for example, or the cost of energy per se, but there's other things going on. Like I already know my water bill is going to go up pretty significantly over the next few years, and there's currently a discussion of putting $109, I think it was, $1 million in SPLOST for a school. And I just want to bring up that a lot of us, while we may not say directly, I'm going to say directly, we're concerned. And if you have any plans from 2008, I remember 2008 and how hard it hit me and having to start all over again. And I don't know if you guys have any plans from 2008 that you remember here in the city, but there are a lot of us that are concerned, and that was what Norma wanted to bring forward, and I wanted to bring forward as well, is that just to put that in your periphery of the things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, our next registered guest is Mr. Tom Couch. If you will, Mr. Couch, just go to the podium, give us your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Mayor Stevenson and fellow commissioners, I'm Tom Couch, and I live at 521 East 9th Street. I attended the ethics investigation this past Tuesday on May the 2nd, and let's just say I was a little bit disappointed. Several fundamental issues to be able to begin the investigation were either not addressed or not resolved. The first one is the ethics complaint the letter that was written by the employee, or was it the Archer report, or a combination of the two? The letter only refers to, it says on behalf of the city staff members and based on the attached investigative report, document page 12 finding. So it only refers to the page 12 finding of the Archer report. It doesn't refer to the entire Archer report at all. And so I don't see how the whole Archer report should be a part of the investigation. We've got, it's defined what the complaint is in the Archer report. And so in that regard, I think it was a mistake to send the entire Archer report to the ethics panel before we had determined exactly what was the ethics complaint. But anyway, I think that needs to be clarified. Second, what is the definition of an ethics violation? You think that might be, well, several of the members of the ethics panel had already seemed to have made a conclusion that an ethics violation had already been committed. But nobody defined what an ethics violation was. Many people have different opinions on different ethical matters, so it makes no sense that someone conclude an ethics violation has occurred until we have a definition. For example, in less than 200 years ago, it was ethical and legal to have slaves, and many ministers said that slavery was fine. I don't believe we agree with that today, but that was ethical. However, we do have a solution to this why, as Mayor Sewell mentioned, and that is that the City of Rome has a code of ethics, which is Article 6 of the Rome, Georgia Code of Ordinances. It states, and I quote, "This code has the following purposes. 1, to encourage high ethical standards in official conduct by city officials, to establish guidelines for ethical standards of conduct for all such officials by setting forth these acts or actions that are incompatible with the best interest of the city. 3, to acquire disclosure by such officials of private, financial, or other interests in manners that affect the city. And 4, to serve as the basis for disciplining those who refuse to abide by its terms." Let me repeat that. 4, to serve as the basis for disciplining those who refuse to abide by its terms. Section 2 of -104 lists the standards of conduct. This section then lists 11 specific standards. It is only these 11 standards of conduct, which are contained in Article 6 of the Rome, Georgia Code of Ordinances, which has the purpose of establishing ethical standards that can be used in an ethics violation. We have a standard. Again, this needs to be defined.
Okay, Mr. Couch,
Thank you.
okay, thank you for your comments. Okay, we have one resolution tonight, and it's the hospital bonds resolution. Mr. Attorney?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
The resolution is before the board tonight relates to a bond issuance for some medical facilities here in town. This does not directly impact the city of Rome's finances in any way. It has no impact on the city of Rome's credit rating. What is required under federal law is that the city simply holds a hearing, and that's the purpose of this evening. That's part of the revenue code and part of the treasury regulations issued by the Federal Service. So what the commission will be considering the resolution is before you. Again, this does not in any way impact the city financially. It's simply a box that the entity seeking the bonds has to check before it can complete the bond issuance.
Okay. Thank you, sir. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the bond sale.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cochran,
Yes.
Bojo,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Askew,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes?
McDaniel.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, thank you. Okay, under first reading, we have several items, and I'll call on Mr. Clerk for that, please.
Yes, ma'am. We do have 4 items for first reading, 3 of which come to us from the Planning Commission. But first is an ordinance to close a portion of Park Court. You all may remember you adopted the resolution to start this a month or so ago. It's been advertised, and now we're moving to the ordinance. So that's on first reading tonight. The other 3 items are from the Planning Commission, the first being annexation request for 7 Billy Powell Road. No change in zoning. It'll remain suburban residential. The second is a rezoning request for property on Technology Parkway. You may remember this is a property that came before this body a couple of meetings ago, went back to the Planning Commission, and now will be coming back before you. The final request is a rezoning for 1219 East 2nd Avenue, and that request is from community commercial to light industrial. And by the way, on the first rezoning, that request is from light industrial to heavy industrial. The annexation and the East 2nd Avenue come to you with unanimous recommendation. The Technology Parkway property comes to you also with a recommendation for approval, but there was a motion to deny. That motion failed, thus it comes to you with a recommendation of adoption. We have a public hearing plan for the 3 Planning Commission items and a second reading plan for the street closing ordinance, all for our next meeting 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Under second reading, we have the broadband ordinance, and I'm going to call on Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and you guys may recall this. It's been before you previously, so as it moves through the process, simply speaking, we are looking to become a broadband-ready community in the city of Rome, and so just as water, wastewater infrastructure, and even roads are now considered, a utility we can't imagine without, so is broadband, and so this provision, this amendment will allow us to be deemed broadband ready, and on a more practical sense, it will allow us to qualify for future grant opportunities for our community. And we anything we can do to help provide access to our citizens, we think is a good thing, and we would simply need a motion to adopt.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
I make a motion to adopt.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, if you would, please call the roll.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Cochran,
Yes.
Bojo,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Askew,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes?
McDaniel.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. We have nothing continuing on first reading. We have no public hearings. At this time, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, ma'am. We have an item tonight from the Georgia Municipal Association, and that is regarding our 2023-2024 District 1 officers. You can see the slate of officers on your screen. Our own Randy Quick will be first vice president, but we would like a motion to approve this slate of officers.
So moved.
Okay, have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk.
Commissioner Cochran,
Yes.
Bojo,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Askew,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes?
McDaniel.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, you might mention Commissioner Quick is first, is it first vice president?
First Vice President.
That's awesome.
Yes. And thank him for service. We appreciate you stepping up.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. All righty, moving along. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam. Just in the way of a brief update, the community is underway. Our Citizens SPLOST Advisory Committee has kicked off and has been meeting. And so each Thursday down at 409 East 12th Street, that's the fire administration facility, the committee is going to be reviewing SPLOST applications and hearing presentations. And so theoretically, all the presentations will be conducted between now and the June 8th meeting. And so just for the viewing public, if you want to participate and want to know and hear and learn about what's being positioned and what's being proposed, 5:30 at the meeting, and those are open to the public, and would invite everyone to come out and take a listen. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Attorney. Thank you, sir. Under my time, first I'd like to announce that the Rome Floyd Development Authority will meet Tuesday, May the 16th at 10 o'clock a.m. in their boardroom at 800 Broad Street. And also, just in caucus, we went into private time and to discuss real estate and litigation. And to go in private time, Commissioner McDaniel made the motion, and it was seconded by Commissioner Bojo. And to come out of private time, the motion was made by Commissioner Doss and second by Commissioner Quick. Of course, there was no action taken. That is all under my time. I'm going to call on Commissioner Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The
Yes, sir.
only announcement I have is an immediate announcement of the library board, and they will meet Thursday, May the 18th at 4 o'clock p.m. at the Rome Floyd County Library. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Bojo.
I have no report.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Beeman.
I would like to report that the Historic Preservation Committee will meet Wednesday, May the 17th at 2:30 p.m. in the Sam King Room. Keep Rome Floyd Beautiful Commission will meet on Monday, May the 22nd at 4 o'clock p.m. at the Floyd County Administration Building. And Public Works Traffic Transit Committee will meet Wednesday, May the 10th at 10 o'clock a.m. in the Sam King Room. Madam Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. Commissioner Dowse.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to report that the Joint City-County Development Oversight Committee met last week, and we hear from a number of different joint departments, building inspection, environmental, planning. So we heard from James Martin, Hannah Bagley, Ben Wickelman, Art, his last meeting, and new to this committee is a trail report. And so Julie Smith gave us an update on trail and transportation planning. And for the commission's note, we get reports on the upcoming ULDC. So that's a huge deal for the city and county, and hopefully we can get a resolution in the near future. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Quick.
Madam Mayor, the Downtown Development Authority will meet on Thursday, May 11th, 8:30 a.m. in the Carnegie Training Room. And I have to give great accolades to our DDA for another amazingly successful event
FroFlow this weekend was just absolutely amazing downtown, and a lot of great comments and great Saturday of sunshine fun in downtown Rome, brought to you by the great staff of the DDA. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Askew.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Public Safety Committee will meet Tuesday, May 16th at 2 p.m. in the Sam King Room. And as you heard earlier, the Police Officers Memorial Service will be Friday, May 19th at 11 a.m. at the Law Enforcement Complex Memorial Plaza. And that's my report, Madam.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Collins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to put in the form of a motion to appoint Tyler McMackles to the Alcohol Control Board.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Cochran,
Yes.
Bojo,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Askew,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes.
I also like to make the announcement on this coming on Wednesday, May the 17th at 9 8 p.m. in the Sam King Room. We will be having the Finance Committee meeting. That's my report.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner McDaniel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Alcohol Control Commission met on April the 1st, 2023. It was a special call meeting to discuss the revocation of the liquor pouring license for Peaches. And I have a recommendation to bring. I think the proprietor of that business is here. Would it be appropriate for her to come before the commission?
Ms. Shaw, if you would like to address the commission, please, you can do so at this time. Go to the podium, give us your name and your address, please. Give you 3 minutes. Maybe some questions.
Stephanie Shaw, address 333 McCrary Road. And I am here because of a 50/50 audit, and I did fall under par for my 50/50 audit. I am trying to approve it. I'm putting a new kitchen in. Lady Natalie Woods is coming to join me in the kitchen. She's she's got 26 years of experience, so I'm ready to learn from her. And I think it's a good business move. I think that she is going to bring a lot of food traffic toward there. I think that she can bring me more days to open, more everything, and more toward meeting the 50/50. I do ask leniency on the 3 months. The 3 months suspension that was recommended by the ACC is extreme. Anything over 29 days, it pulls my entire license and affects me personally. Just in Cartersville, I cannot apply for a license for 5 years. It gives a lot of restrictions on me personally. If it goes over 29 days, the state has to come in, take my inventory, I have to start all over. I am ready to face my punishment and feel a little bit better on the food and getting there and getting closer. And if you guys will work with me, anything, just 3 months is kind of ending for me.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Shaw.
Thank you.
The recommendation, the special call meeting came about because the ACC had met previously, and our city clerk had concerns about some of the information that had been presented to him regarding the food-drink ratio, and so giving Ms. Shaw an opportunity to bring data back to the ACC. And I want to commend the Alcohol Control Commission. Those are citizens, and they take this very, very seriously. A lot of good discussion, a lot of good questions, and a lot of concern for the situation and the people involved. So the recommendation that comes from the city, from the Alcohol Control Commission, I'm going to ask our city clerk to explain the recommendation as it is. I'll read the recommendation, let him answer any questions.
The motion is to recommend that the city commission be suspended for a 3-month period. At the end of 3 months, and it's the liquor pouring permit that would be suspended for 3 months. And after 3 months, if she comes back and verifies that she's operating her restaurant with a higher level of food, with a genuine, actual opportunity to meet the food-drink ratio, then she may reapply for a liquor pouring license permit. It does not take away her opportunity to sell beer and wine or continue the operation of the restaurant. So the motion is for a 3-month suspension, and that's from the Alcohol Control Commission. That is a motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a quick question too. Commissioner McDaniel or either Joe, either one can answer that. Did I hear in caucus that she has the opportunity to demonstrate, and as soon as she demonstrates that she can bring her food production up for selling, that she could possibly be reinstated her license? So does that mean if she can prove to Mr. Clerk that her receipts for his food sales has been wrapped up within the next 30 days, could she possibly establish the fact to the clerk that, yes, I'm on my pathway since she's doing something new?
The motion from the Alcohol Control Commission is for a 3-month suspension.
Right.
And I strongly recommend that the City Commission follow the guidelines that we have in place with Alcohol Control Commission. And at the end of 3 months, Ms. Shaw could come back and reapply for a liquor permit, liquor pouring license.
Well, I hear this businesswoman crowd to this commission that's going to be very detrimental to her. Did she make the same crowd to the ACC board?
I don't think there's any doubt that there wasn't room for open discussion. She made a presentation at the initial meeting, and then we had a special call meeting on April the 1st that dealt, it was called primarily to deal with the Peaches situation. I think we did have 1 or 2 permits, beer permits that came back, but that meeting was held primarily for the purpose of dealing with the Peaches situation. I'm of the opinion that we, the people that are willing to volunteer their time as citizens on these committees, who ask a lot of questions, they give of themselves. I'm hugely impressed with the discussion that they had back and forth. I think we follow the guidelines that we have in place. Now, in that meeting, we did have a discussion about going back and looking at the what other communities do in terms of their food-drink ratio. And I asked the city clerk if he would reach out to clerks from other cities across the state to find out what their ratios are, and then the Alcohol Control Commission at that point could consider making a recommendation back to the City Commission that we may alter what our current ratio is. But with the existing ratio, we've got a situation here where a proprietor did not meet that ratio and has been given adequate and ample time to do so.
As we all know, times change. And we were presented in caucus with the idea that the food-drink ratio hasn't proven that it makes that much difference or doesn't make any difference when it comes to consuming alcohol. It's also been a change made in the last few years with this commission that have voted to allow for some establishments not to even have to put up food as part of their ratio, et cetera, to even sell this same alcohol. The hours have changed.
I think the recommendation that came from the Alcohol Control Commission about having these special boutique bars where they only served alcohol, I think that failed before the Rome City Commission. Did we not bring one?
Yes, sir. There was an ordinance that would establish some guidelines for small bars. There were certain restrictions, and that did fail. As Commissioner Collins pointed out, the City Commission has approved 3 food-drink ratio variances, one for Old Havana and 2 recently that have, well, one is working to open and the other has not opened yet. Now, they had some pretty strict limits on them, closing at 11 o'clock, and they're small, and they weren't, in fact, they could not have entertainment. They were not entertainment-type venues.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, Mr. Commissioner, because that's what I was alluding to, because that same citizen advisory group that you make mention of, that we should respect so their opinion, et cetera, is the one that made that same recommendation to not even have any food with those venues. I just say that to say to you that I think in that citizen advisory board is leaning more towards getting away from this ratio that's been antiquated for quite some time. It's a new day, and I know the importance of continuing on with what we have on the book. But even the things that we have on the book has been kind of diced and moved around to allow for situations like. But in the case of a hardship, like that 50-50 ratio and what this here business owner is going through in our downtown Rome to trying to hang on, I was just asking if she's proven in about 30 days that she could, with this new system that she's putting in, could it be possible that maybe we could leave that counter open a little bit so Joe could make that call? He went in and made the investigation and made the call to bring it before the ACC in a call meeting. Maybe he could see something that would allow the hardship that this lady might be put up under to not stretch it out to 90 days.
Commissioner, I think you may be confusing. How many entities do we have with pouring licenses, Joe, would you guess?
Oh, I don't have an accurate count, but it's more than 30.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So the standards for the people that have pouring license have not changed. We've had, from the Alcohol Control Commission, we've had discussions about maybe trying boutique bars and things of that nature, maybe changing the ratio. We did change it for the cigar bar because their item that they used to match is cigars and tobacco. So in keeping with what is currently in place and understanding that we are willing to take a look at it by looking at other cities, in order for us to be consistently consistent, which we struggle with sometimes, and you and I have talked about it.
I agree.
I think in terms of being consistently consistent, that we adhere to the regulation that we have in place, and we follow the recommendation that came to us after 2 meetings from Alcohol and Control Commission.
Well, Madam Mayor, along those lines, could I just ask one other question?
Go ahead, sir.
We have one of the members of the ACC Citizen Advisory Team here that came before us, the caucus, Mr. Billy. Could we at least hear from him again while he's up here, so we can, at least the listening public can understand where I'm coming from? Would you allow that?
Well, I think in ACC, that meeting is open to the public. Am I correct on that? Yeah, okay.
But caucus is too.
Well, we have a motion before the City Commission, and I think
it's discussion
first and second.
Mr. Attorney, can you help me on
And so is the question whether
It's
Yes,
the
sir.
same as though
Yes,
Ms.
sir.
Shaw is speaking, but I'm asking one of the members of the ACC Citizen Advisory Committee, Mr. Billy, which is here, could he comment up and explain to us exactly what he talked to us about in caucus this afternoon? Would that be?
What I would say at this point is there's a motion on the floor so that there can be discussion amongst the commissioners. I think that you all can discuss the motion. I'm not quite sure that you necessarily at this point have anybody else come up about the motion.
I just wanted to make sure I was clear on what I heard at caucus and what the ACC probably is going to be considering going forward.
I think was that just information that he gave us? That was nothing that the ACC had voted on, if I remember correct. He was giving us information. Is that correct? What he gave us tonight, that was information just for us, and that may be something that they discussed at a later time in ACC. That was nothing that the ACC voted on.
I think,
Yeah.
as the commissioner that sits on the ACC, we had a very rich discussion about alcohol being in pouring establishments over the years. At one time, the ratio was 70% food, 30% alcohol. Now we're at 50-50, and so we asked our clerk here to do a study of other communities to see what their ratios are. And we may find that there's something else after we do that study that our Alcohol Control Commission would want to make a recommendation back to the full commission. But the standard that we have in place right now, every pouring establishment that serves food is held to the same standard.
I would just, I don't mean to be argumentative, but if Joe, Mr. Clerk, is going to make observation about a location and suspicion that it might not be reporting correctly, is that same observation made of all the whole 30 people that hold license?
Mm-hmm.
You say yes?
Yes, sir. We get reports each month from everyone who has a liquor pouring license. They have to submit their mixed drink tax each month, and on that same report, they list their food sales. So we get information from each establishment each month, as well as wholesale distributor reports regarding how much distilled spirits are delivered at each establishment.
But she knew that, and she made her report, but you saying that that report was suspicious?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, this isn't the time to debate the food-drink ratio. We have an ordinance on the books. Either we support it or we don't. And it's more than just a food, drink, and overconsumption. It's a privilege license. There's a lot more to it, and we have a responsibility to this city.
I hope that, Mr. Chairman, you wouldn't think that I was debating you on that situation. I was only seeking clarification and information.
That's why they've got us sitting beside each other.
Right. So don't take that as a debate.
Any other discussion?
Oh, my
Okay, if not, Mr. Clerk, if you would, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cochran,
Yes.
Bojo,
Yes.
Beeman,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Quick,
Yes.
Askew,
Yes.
Collins,
I'm going to say yes at this time.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Motion carried.
And Joe, if you will, tell us when that's effective.
Well, since you all do not specify otherwise, that goes into effect tomorrow, and will run for 90 calendar days. At which time she could reapply that reapplication would not be considered until the 90-day period was over. Or let me rephrase that. It could be considered, it would not be reinstated until the 90-day period is over.
Could you consider making it May 15th?
Whatever this body wants to do.
I would make a motion that we let it be effective May the 15th, because I know she's got inventory.
She's what?
She has inventory, and it will give her a chance to get rid of some of her inventory. So I would make a motion that we make it effective May the 15th.
I'll second his motion.
Madam Mayor,
Discussion, yes, sir.
either she's a problem or she's not. And if you, in all of your expounding upon the issues that we have and that we should listen to the Alcohol Control Commission and all this other stuff, and you were spearheading that she should not have her license, either she has an issue or she doesn't.
I think she does have an issue, Commissioner Cochran, but I know she has bought alcohol, and it would just be considerate as her as a small business owner. I don't know that she can do much between now and May the 15th. I mean, if the commission wants to say make it effective tomorrow, I'll support that. I was trying to be considerate to someone who has invested money in some inventory.
I understand where you're coming from. I just, another considerate path would have maybe been to consider some of Commissioner Collins' comments. I don't understand the duplicity and all of it. It's confusing.
And Madam Mayor, and help me, Joe, when her license was suspended for the first offense, wasn't that immediately? And she had an event?
The policy is any action, alcohol-related suspension by this body goes into effect immediately unless y'all specify otherwise.
That's what I thought.
Can I ask Ms. Shaw if that would be helpful?
No. Anything over 29 days that affects my state, it's no longer a suspension. Over 29 days, it's not a suspension. I have to reapply. So it's not given by the city. It then goes to the state. And as I understand, they're supposed to come and pour out my inventory or take it back or whatever they do with it. And I'm totally confused.
Did the Citizen Advisory Committee know that? Okay. So you saying that, if I may, Madam Mayor, you saying that if it's over 30 days suspension, you have to go back and apply for your liquor porn license from the feds, from the state?
I think so, yes.
Is that right, Mr. Clark?
As I understand it.
Mr. Collins, I don't know if that's true or not. It may very well be if Ms. Shaw stands so, but we don't not up on all the state's processes. Sorry.
No sorry needed.
Okay, there was a motion on the floor. Now, I heard her say it wouldn't make it. Okay, but right now we have a motion on the floor. Unless Commissioner rescinds his motion. Is that correct? Because I did get a motion and a second.
There is a motion and a second.
Yeah, motion and a second on the floor.
What is the motion?
What is the motion?
Do you want to rescind your motion?
That the suspension does not start until the 15th, which is next
okay,
Monday.
May 15th.
That's what was on the floor. Yeah. Do you want to rescind it? Let it stay. We'll vote on it. Commissioner.
I mean, we got a motion and a second
Okay.
vote.
All righty. Mr. Perkins.
If it's not voted in favor, then it's effective tomorrow.
Yes.
Or immediately.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Cochran?
No.
Bojo?
No.
Beeman?
No.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Askew?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
McDaniel?
Yes.
Passes 5-3.
Okay. So her suspensions will start on May the 15th. You have a week. And then 90 days from that day.
Of course, I believe we may have touched on this, but other aspects of the business, entertainment, beer and wine sales, of course, food sales, all go on. The only thing affected is liquor pouring.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission will meet Thursday, May the 18th at 11 a.m. at the Civic Center. And Ron Floyd Parks and Rec will meet Tuesday, May the 16th at 12 p.m. at their main office. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to say to all of our mothers and those that stand in the gap as mothers, this weekend is Mother's Day, and I want to say Happy Mother's Day to each of you. And with that being said, we're adjourned. Have a good night.
Good job, baby.
Thank you, sir.